Hey guys, give me a second and we will get us going. Facebook changed something else up again on me, so that kind of slowed me down here. Okay. All right. There we are.
But then I didn't look at, I knew I had a bad piece of siding, but I always stepped out that bedroom door and looked, it was right there. I never took 2 steps back.
Oh, you heard Rust in the background. Pool boy. Pool boy is talking in the background. Okay. All right, guys. So let's go on ahead and get started. Morning, Jonna. Morning, Chris. I started it up and then it was doing something weird. I don't know what it was weird doing, but it was weird. I know someone else just joined in and I had my hand right there and I couldn't see who it was. So glad you're all with us this morning. Hi, Tina. That's who it was. Hey, Arla. Arla, I'm glad you're here. I'm so sorry about your brother passing away. You've had a rough year. So know that you're in my thoughts and prayers. And morning, Ann. Nice to have you too. Hi, Terry. Terry, how are ya? Oh gosh, it's good to see you guys and have you here with me. So I really am sorry. Last week I was focused on retreat. We had a really nice retreat. I sat there and was almost in tears thinking about it because I was looking at them and I had some over here that were talking, and then I had another friend over here that was talking with new people, and I had 2 sisters. I had 2 sets of sisters that were there and people that had not been able to visit for a while. And I had named it a gathering with friends, and that's exactly what it was, or a gathering of friends. And it was exactly that. We had cousins, we had sisters, and it was wonderful. It was real low key, and we didn't have a big group, but what we had there was awesome. Everyone enjoyed it, and I'm so thankful that we had that opportunity. We have already set the date for the spring one, and Chris has approved it for me, and I think I said it's March 22 and 23. Is that right, Chris? Because I can't tell because it's on my phone when I text you and I don't remember. But yeah, it was wonderful, Jonna. That's the best get-togethers. You are so right, Tina. Truly was. Yep. All right. So March 23rd and 22nd, 22 and 23 of 2024, and put it on your calendars. So I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to designing, I am, you ever think about, soups are better the longer they cook because everything kind of mellows and just kind of blends together. That's kind of my thinking in terms of designing too. I do the same way. And so a lot of times when I'm designing, it's going on up here in my head, but it may not be going on paper. So I have Stamp and Sip coming tonight, and we're going to do this group of girls. They like to do framed art, and I'll throw some cards into them on occasion, but most of the time they like frame art, and that's what we use. So I went with the set that's in the catalog, and I'm going to just go walk around my island to get my catalog. I'll be right back. So I case the catalog, and I don't know how often you do that, but I find it's very hard for me to focus on the pictures because I'm so looking for the products. Okay, hey Mary. Hope you come back and check it on the replay. Do that, please. Anyhow, I wanted something different, and I thought I'm going to go with a Santa Claus. And we have a really neat Santa Claus set in our catalog. Well, I immediately ordered 2 more packs of the paper because I thought, hello, I'll get that paper here so we don't have to color. We can just die cut him out. Well, forget that because the order is coming tomorrow. So guess what? We're going to be die cutting and doing it. But do you see this right here? This right here is what I'm basing mine on. And this is a card. And I've sat and I've studied it. And it's got crumb cake. And then they've used Pretty Peacock. And they have sponged Pretty Peacock on it. They've got the slope. They have watercolored with the just different shades of green. I specifically went with watercolor paper. Then I would say, that's real interesting. That is very, I would say they splattered it with, could be crumb, it could be the craft ink. But it looks like you got a splatter line going here. So I would say they were using, and I could use that. I hadn't thought of that. We could use craft ink and use a toothbrush to do that. I'll have to pretend with that. I did something different, but I may offer that as an option tonight. The other one would have been that puff paint from last year that we used, and that was great. So here is what we are doing tonight. I wanted a bigger area, so I have my frame. Instead of the card, I wanted to go on ahead and I added a chimney here on this. We have colored him in, even though in the lighting here, it's pretty hard to see. It looks like I left all that the way it is, but the shade on the beard is all in smoky slate. And I used one of the flesh tones. I might go back and see if I can darken it a little bit. But isn't it cute? I love it. And it was very, very close to this. They're not the same, but I used the catalog to case and come up with my design for tonight. And I think they're going to love it too. I'm excited about it. And then I used a lot of Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see, but my trees are all frosted over. After I watercolored them, I used the large round watercolor, a water painter that we have. And I just use Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon and I think it's Lemon Lime Twist is what I use. And then I just started using that on my trees that are out of watercolor papers because I wanted them to really have more distinction to them, more depth. And then after they were good and dry, I took my Wink of Stella. And there you guys, you can see where the Wink of Stella is shining a little bit. Isn't that cute? So they're going to love it. They're going to love it. And the moon and the stars came from the set where all of the trees and this stamp sets are. This was the Santa. So that's what I do. A lot of times in my head, I plan things and I let it simmer just like a bowl of chili, a pot of chili. Now, I went to do my last card, and here were some cards that we did with the retreat. We used the Wintry Meadow, I think. Is that what it's called? That paper. That was one of my first things when I fell in love in the catalog. It was like, gotta have that. 38 is what I think it is. Yep. So Magical Meadow is the stamps that I used. But the paper is right here. Winter Meadow is the paper. And then I also fell in love with this sheer ribbon. This is some of the most beautiful ribbon out there. I would have loved to have had these gems, but they were not available. They had been on back order for a while, and there was no way I was going to be able to get those. So I had to switch it up. I ended up with the iridescent ones. But this is one of the cards that we did, and I love monochromatic. You guys will see a lot of monochromatic cards with me because of that reason. I just love them. This is another one we did. Isn't that beautiful? Love that. And that's got that snowflake paper in the background. Isn't that pretty? And then this one here, which can use the markers. the right markers to be able to color in the stamps. These were beautiful, super easy. They had their own half package of DSP. They got to cut all of the DSP. They got a full bolt of ribbon, and they got a full bolt of the iridescent gems. So those are my cards, but I needed another one. And so when I'm sitting here thinking about cards, I needed one for the Zany Zoo, and that was an add-on class. Now, my Zany Zoo class is already gone. A friend came by and already has picked up the cards to take home to work with her on her kit. But I was coming up with, wanted a fun fold, and it was for Zany Zoo. And I'm like, what am I going to do? What can I do real fast? Because I need to zip this out. And so I went to some of the cards that I've done. And I looked at this one, and this was one that I did back in September, I believe. I did this, and then I changed it up and got rid of this tree because I really don't like that tree. I got rid of this tree, and I went with a tree that we used from the Regal Reindeer. We used that, and then I used that in my Christmas card class. But I thought, I don't know that I want to leave it like that exactly. But look, this is what I did. So my card today is going to be based on this pattern, flipping it over so that the top page is longer than the inside. All right, so let's go on ahead and get started. So I went and I start first with a piece of paper that is 5.5 by 11. Now, know that this is not one that you can use, and it's not very economical to go out and make 400 of these cards. Number one, you only get one card out of one piece of paper, okay? Now, you can use some of the pieces that we cut off, but you don't have that much because it was 5.5, and I have 8.5, so I cut off 3 inches over here to the side. So you do have that you can work with, but it's still, you only get one card out of 8.5 by 11, and we're used to getting 2 cards. So that makes it a little trickier. So I scored it, and I believe this is scored at 3 5/8. And then I scored it from the other side at 3 1/8. Okay? So on the Christmas card, I had the bigger of the ends tucked here, and I had it like this. And there was a reason why. Because this one here uses 6x6 DSP, and I was not going to cut anything bigger than a 3-inch piece. Not cutting any bigger because I needed 2 out of that 6x6. And so that's why it was set up like this one for the Christmas one. I don't care now. I've got plenty of DSP. I'm going to rotate it. And I flipped it over. All right. I'm going to start with this piece here. And my mat is going to be, my mat is 3 by 5 3/8. And then my DSP is 2 7/8 by 5 1/4, okay? Oh, yeah, I don't know that it's brilliant thinking, but man, my mind thinks like that. I think, how can I do this so that I can economically get as much as I can out of this paper? So, I'm going to start with this one here. You really do have to think it through, especially if you're doing classes, because if you're doing multiples card classes, you never want to cut your DSP bigger than 4 inches. Because if you cut it 4 inches wide, you can get 3 across on a 12 by 12. If you cut it 4 1/8, you're only going to get 2. Same with silver, same with gold. Foils and things. So you got to plan ahead and look at it. Okay, so I'm going to take this one. I want to make sure this is going in the right direction. And I'm going to put that one right here. I love a good monochromatic card. So out of the 3 that I showed you, you notice 3 of them 2 of them were monochromatic. It's the way I like. Now I'm going to go with this one here. And I had, this was 3 5/8, so I believe this is 3 1/2. Yep, 3 1/2 by 5 3/8, and this one here is 3 3/4. No, that was wrong. 3 3/8. Okay, so I'm going to go with that one. And when I'm done with this card, you will see too that we had no punches. We have no dies. It is simply paper and layers of paper. I love a good layered card. Anybody else like lots of layers? I'm bad. Just more layers I can get on it, the better it is. Yep, I see a lot of hearts going up. Other people like layers too. Okay, so let's do this. We're at the end. So Chris and I were talking today and texting today. So I have added a class that we're going to do at the end, the week after Thanksgiving. It is going to be a Bethlehem shadow box with lights. So be watching for that class. You'll need the Bethlehem paper. You will need, I can run dies, but I cannot send any stamped images. So be prepared for that. All right. And we've already got the March stamp camp in. And I'm going to, I was talking with them today in my group, business group that I was with, Rhonda Wade, and I think we're doing a Truckin' Along mega camp online. So if you haven't got that truck set, you're going to want that. All right, so there it is. And no, it looks upside down, but it's not, because there's your trees. So, all right, so there's that much. Let's go on ahead, and I like to mat, especially when I'm going to put a white here. I think it looks a little nicer if I put another mat under this one, because it's a lot of white there, and then it'll break it up just a hair for that middle section. Okay, and I've got some rough edges here, so I'm going to see if I can cut this down. So I got a new paper cutter coming. It's going to look just like all of the other paper cutters that I have had since I started cutting paper. I like Fisker's paper cutter. I know some people that cut a lot of paper, they like Carl, I think it's Carl cutter. I like Fisker's, and the reason why is Fisker's has a lifetime warranty, and they replace it, and this will be my 4th Fisker's in 15 years. And they never question it. They said, send me the picture of it so I know what model it is, and you've got a new one coming. So, Arla, so you loved layering, and so does Anne. And Arla, you said you first learned from someone named Layering. Yep, that does it. Now, Jonna, the layers that I come up with, this 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 thing, that is from Lynn, that was there at the retreat this weekend. Our friend from Jeff City, she has always added these layers and makes them very, very small, and it just gives an elegance to the cards. So, hey, Darla, you like Fisker's too? I do, and Fisker's, they stand by it, and it is so easy. You don't have to save the warranty product information. You just go online and you type in fiskers.com, and then it'll say warranty. And you go in and you fill out the warranty, submit, and say, this is what I'm doing. This is what's wrong with it. And they'll come back and they'll say, send us a picture. And it's easy. So, okay. Morning, Kathy. Hi, Jonna. I know it is hard to get them even. It's very, very hard, and I don't have as much luck getting them even on one of these kind of cutters. I have to have the guillotine, you know, the old off with their head type thing. But it's what the art teacher used. So I was used to using it too, like that. So there's the beginning of our card. Not done yet, but let's go on ahead and set that off to the side. So I told you we're not going to do any die cuts, no punches, no nothing. If you look at this one, this is not any die cuts. This is simply me cutting paper, and there is nothing better in this world than to cut paper. Oh, you'd like to see my Carl Fisker's cutter? I'll put it on, I'll take a picture of it and put it out here. Yeah, they are. The Carl is heavy. Now, people swear by them, and they can cut more paper at one time, more sheets. I never try to cut more than 2. Actually, I did once. I cut several sheets, and I forced it and broke the handle on it. And Jim was like, maybe you shouldn't have cut that much. But they were like, it's okay. We'll still replace it. So, anyhow, this is what we're kind of doing today. But if you look, there is not a die cut. You could have made this a deckled rectangle. Not doing it. Everything is simply as is. So let's go on over here. And I have this little piece of paper. And I don't know. 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. Okay. There was no real rhyme or reason to it. I was working with that, and I was like, yeah, there's a piece of paper that'll work. And then I built around it. So I have my Night of Navy, and I'm going to use this stamp set. And I'm going to go with this card. So sincere, but I'm going to use this image and this image with the card. So let's go with that first. And let's start with the inside image. And I'm just going to stamp this here in the bottom. Now, this is kind of a different stamp. It has a watermark look to it. So it's different. I'm just going to tell you, it's different. There it is. And some people don't like that edging because that's like the watermark. This one's not so bad. The bigger one, this one leaves quite a bit of image to it. So that one you may not like as well. Okay. All right. So that's what my inside's going to be because I like to write on the insides of my cards. So I'm leaving it at that. Now let's go with the smaller of the whites. This is the one. And I'm going to take this greeting that says, "You're in my heart and prayers." And I dislike these putting that label on there, but I did it for all my people. Just because they like it. Some of them do, some of them don't. I tear up some of my stamps though with those. I don't find them to be as easy. That was pretty juicy. So I'm going to put the greeting on first so I make sure I leave plenty of room. Now I'm going to take my berries and I'm just going to add some berries around the bottom. And I'm just going to turn this every which way to fill in. Filling it all and just leaving a little bit in the center. And I'm going to have to turn this one off a little. And there it is. Okay. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. All right. So we're going to take that one and we're going to layer that onto, oh, I've got all my notes on the back side. We'll go to the inside. I don't know about you guys. I go through grid paper like crazy. I love grid paper. So now this one is simply an 1/8. So if I would measure this, this should be 4 inches and it should be probably 2.5. Yep, 4 inches by 2.5. I'm going to put that here. And then I'm going to turn around and put that on top of the other white piece, the other mat, and so that would be 4 1/8, I think. Yep, 4 1/8 by 2 5/8. All right. So now let's take this beautiful ribbon. This ribbon is gorgeous. And if I had blends, I could go on ahead and probably color that and make that navy. But why would you do that? It's so beautiful the way it is. So this is from an old spool. And I'm just going to get it all gone. Won't be enough to do another whole card. It'll be too much if I leave just a little bit. And I got 2 more rolls in there. Okay, so I'm going to take this ribbon and I'm going to stretch it across right in the middle as best I can, okay? I'm not going to measure it or anything like that. It's all eyeball. And then I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals. And in this situation, you're going to want that ribbon to stay in place. You don't want it to move. So I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals that overlap that ribbon, okay? So now that ribbon is in place. I'm going to go on ahead and take the dimensionals here and put on the back of my front greeting. Like so. That one may not stick. I may have to take that one out. In fact, let's just do it. Because where I put those other 2, it may not lay flat. So I've got my card. I've got this here. And I'm going to put this on top. And it will hide where that ribbon is. Right there, okay? And then I'm going to tie and make a bow. Anybody else have this ribbon? I know Jonna does because she was at the retreat. Anybody else have it? Because it is gorgeous ribbon. And I'm pretty sure I got the last of them before it went out on. Needs to be tighter. And Chris, I know, I hear you, Chris. You're saying if you'd had your tweezers there, it would have made the difference. It would. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to cut this, but I'm not going to cut it too short because they're going to have to open that card and they might want to keep that card. All right. So there's my card. Let's put some gems on it. And I will tell you that one of my favorite gems truly is the old rhinestones. They are just hard to beat. Okay. Now, some people would not like this card because when I untie it, they would not like that the ribbon is hanging. But now, see, it will not pull through. By fastening that ribbon down, it will not pull through. And if they want to close it and save it, they can. Otherwise, if you untied it, that ribbon would come through and it would be a pain. I will show you one way that you can fix this so it won't happen. So there's my card. Remember, I told you it's this card here. It was this one here, flipped upside down. All I did was turn it around. Okay, so now how can we fix that ribbon so that it's not flopping? Well, I'll show you. Got to get it back tied again, and then we'll go back and we'll fix it. Okay. And remember, I left a little bit extra tag purposely so that it would be able to be tied again. I'll play with it. The ribbon looked better the other time, the bow did, but that's okay. All right, now let's fix it. So the only thing you have to do is you just need to cover that up a little. So I just took a circle punch. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a circle punch and I'm gonna lay some adhesive on it. Got a spot here that needs a little more adhesive. And my card is done. And if I just do this, the ribbon is still in its place. It won't go anywhere, but when I open it now, it will stay in one spot. So when I untie it, the ribbon is not flopping anymore over here. It's still there, and it'll be there to tie again when they're done. So just anchor it down. I take a punch, take a little die cut that coordinates, and just tack on top of it, and that will hold it in place. And that, my guys, is my card for the day. There you go. I am going to cut a little and a little here. So how many of you have this paper? Because this is beautiful paper. Beautiful paper. Yeah, it is a beautiful card, and it is so easy because it is nothing more than cutting paper. And I love to cut paper. Oh, Patricia, a glue dot would work too. You could hold it by sticking a glue dot under there. That would work. Okay. Now, you can't go wrong with blue and white and a little touch of silver or diamond rhinestones on there. All-time favorite paper. This is a stunning one. Okay, stunning one. I have my tutorials all for the cards. Place an online order anytime this week, and I will ship you the tutorial for all of them. There's 8 of them. It is so easy to do these cards, and you don't have to have the same stamp sets. You could easily have made this with another stamp set that's got greenery. You could easily make it with any greetings. It truly is. It's just beautiful. So anyhow, all right, guys, take care. If you want the tutorial, reach out. I will be posting the link to my online store. Place your online order, and I will just send you the tutorial. Not the kit, but I'll get this tutorial sent right out to you, and it's got all the measurements on it. All right, take care. God bless. Have a great week. Feel better, everyone. Bye-bye.